edition of Morning City. Seeing as how I'm going to be trying to pump out content and get shit rolling as far as numbers is concerned on my page, one of the things that that I need to start doing is being consistent on this platform and getting content up here. So that's what these things are going to be. Initially, these videos, these moments were on Instagram. But numbers wise, for whatever reason, I don't know, dude. Like, for whatever reason, my Instagram has kind of been stuck at like a 1,600 followers count. Not sure why that is. But I'm also not like world famous, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like a whole bunch of people should be there. Well, it's not like a whole bunch of people are there or were there. They should be. Because number one, not only am I a content creator, and what's going to be happening on this platform, I'm going to be talking music, I'm going to be talking sports, mainly your MMAs and basketball and football when it comes up and all that good shit. But I also create music, dude, and when it comes to the creation of the music, dude, not cocky or anything, but I got some shit, bro. Like, and it's a nice wide range and variety of shit. So either way, the intention is to get the numbers up, try to get some monetization going on, just so that way I can produce better content, just kind of upgrade this part of my life, because this is my creative aspect. This is my balance. So welcome to your morning Citic. Morning Citic talk. Usually this is what I do with everybody else. Let's see what I'm doing out here. Matter of fact, while we're sitting here at this, never mind. I got a car coming by me. You guys will be sitting down in my lap because I am driving and I don't want to be holding you while I'm driving. That's only until I get a fucking like a mount to put my phone on and shit. Either way, so with the Instagram morning Citic talks, stoner talks, I've kind of MMA talk, some rhetoric and rumor mill shit that I've been hearing afloat amongst the MMA atmosphere and the MMA community. So anyone who's familiar, hey, what's up? Everybody that's here, that's cool, dude. I actually have fucking 4 people. So the conversation about MMA, we all seen, if you are an MMA fan and an avid MMA fan, you're all privy to Ilia Topuria knocking out Charles Oliveira. So before I kick into this sidebar, initially when Ilia Topuria came in, I wasn't too big of a fan, because I mistaked his confidence for cockiness. He was going up against Volkanovski. It took me a little bit to like Volk after Max. But I really like Volk as a fighter and as a man, dude. The dude is a righteous dude, and he really fights his ass off. And just Topuria's attitude toward Volk that whole entire time, I'm just gonna knock him out, blah 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 blah. I just it rubbed me in the wrong way. So I wasn't a Topuria fan, especially since Paddy Pimblett smacked him in the face with a water bottle and shit didn't go down. You know what I mean? But over his ascent to the top, I've become more of a Topuria fan, and that's only because I finally understand the man. This man is using something that everybody speaks about, and that's the power of manifestation, bro. that when we speak about the power of manifestation, it's not only important to do the other parts of it, roadmap, plan it, however you do it. Some people make a vision board, all that shit. But more importantly, you got to feel it, you got to know it, and you got to see it. You know what I'm saying? And you got to put in the work. This is how you manifest these dreams and these visions and things of that nature. And so when you watch Taporia over the course of his ascent, this man speaks on his victories with such conviction, like, the dude apologized to Charles before the fight on some, like, I didn't want it to be you that I have to knock out. That's savagery on a whole different fucking level at that point. You know what I'm saying? And that's self-belief and confidence on a whole nother level. We had Conor McGregor come in, and just everybody thought that this dude was the littest dude ever. You know what I mean? Like, this guy is, Mystic Mac. He's predicting his rounds and his shots and blah, 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 blah. I think Conor's overall predictions were a losing record at best. There's been a couple, you know what I'm saying? The Jose Aldo fight, but you got to think something as well when you're watching these sports and you're watching MMA and things of that nature. When you're the champion in these sports, you got to understand that everybody in your division, whether that's in your organization or not, everybody in your division, the division below you, the division above you, you're on everybody's radar. With you being on everybody's radar, this then puts a target on your back. So dudes are going to be watching your tapes. Yes, everyone's got their fight camps. They got their own fights. They're going to be doing their homework on their own opponents. But sidebar time, outside of training camp, whatever, you're the top dog. They're watching you. They're looking at you. They're aiming for you. They're gunning. They're watching your fights. They're game planning. They're seeing what your weaknesses are. They're all these things, right? So my thing with the fight, and I made a joke on my Twitter, because lame ass Drake with his Drake curse put a bet on Charles Oliveira that he was gonna fucking win the fight. I immediately saw the tweet and retweeted it with a quote of, well, that's it for Charles. You know what I'm saying? Like, Drake fucking bet on his fight. He's definitely gonna lose now. And this was all tongue-in-cheek. This is all a joke. You know what I'm saying? Did I feel that way? Honestly, look, giving you a breakdown, I'm not a casual MMA fan. I'm not a new MMA fan. Hold on, guys. I got a badge into work. All right. So I'm not a casual MMA fan or brand new to the sport or anything like that. Like, I've literally watched it since I was a kid. Like, I lost my very first fight when I was a kid. This is when pay-per-view and the little black box that you would get to steal pay-per-views, that's when that was still around and that was still popping. That's when I got into the UFC. The UFC was still no gloves, no rules type shit. You know what I'm saying? I lost my very first fight, and my mom's boyfriend, who was tasked with teaching me how to fight, first thing he did was came over with that black box, put it in my room on my TV, showed me the station that had the UFC stuff on it, and told me, watch this. When I come back from going out of town over the weekend, we're going to get started on training. And I did. I watched that shit religiously. I was already a martial arts fan, Power Rangers, all that shit. So it was an easy transition into MMA. So point of all that is I'm not a casual. I'm not new to this, dude. I'm old school with this knowledge, dude. And so when it came to Charles Oliveira, bro, I'm old enough in my fandom and watching and covering the sport to know of the time that Charles Oliveira was written off, bro. Like it was baffling to me that there was so many people out there in the world glazing fucking Charles Oliveira like he was really this second coming of some sort of savior, and he's just marauder, fucking berserker, just knocking dudes out and submitting them all over the place. Definitely, he's got the best submission record in the game, for sure. Dude's the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fucking practitioner in the UFC, bar none, for sure. When he got with Shooter Box, let me tell you, the Charles Oliveira, before he got with Shooter Box, his striking wasn't shit. Like, if Charles Oliveira wanted to stand with you before Shooter Box, you might as well went ahead and did that shit, because it was gonna work out for you pretty nice. But once this fool got with Shooter Box, bro, and start training with those dudes and Muay Thai and shit, you seen his fucking Muay Thai skyrocket. You seen this dude's fucking shots be tight, pinpoint. You know what I'm saying? He never really exerted or, gave out too much power, all that shit. That's awesome. He never did any of that shit, dude. But now this dude striking was legit. But I knew for sure, bro, like, if there was definitely a chance that Topuria fucking slept him, bro. Like, everyone looks at his most recent fights, Michael Chandler, such and such. Oh, he got dropped, and he's got a tendency to get dropped. He definitely does have a tendency to get dropped, for sure. Beyond having a tendency to get dropped, there was a long streak of Oliveira's career. He was in the UFC. Nobody had faith in him like that. Like, nobody was like, Charles Oliveira is my champion, and all these fools showing up to press conferences and dyeing their hair blonde like this fool, and on Twitter fucking glazing this fool like he's really fucking the bee's knees. And I'm like, bro, this is the same Charles Oliveira that we all had a salt taste in our mouth for, because this dude had a tendency to quit in big fights, bro. Like, this fool would get his chance at a fucking number one contender fight, and this fool would shit the bed. You know what I'm saying? So I already felt like Topuria had a chance of definitely beating him. But I definitely didn't see Topuria doing what he did to him. Like, he fucking went out there and made that fool look like he shouldn't even been in the octagon with him. And so I'm watching all these other channels, and some of you guys are gonna find out about me. My favorite boxing channel is Southpaw TV. And then what this man brings in boxing commentary versus everybody else is he keeps it real, and he don't give a fuck. He's calling niggas out. He's saying shit. That's what my intentions are with MMA. Yes, we have MMA Guru, and he's definitely a truth teller, and he's definitely hilarious in everything that he says in his delivery and all that shit. Like, he definitely is the man. My thing is I'm sick of the bias talk, right? So that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm making content. Yes, I have favorite fighters. Luckily, all my favorite fighters are old school fighters, but they're all retired, or they've all moved on or whatever. So no bias and no favoritism toward anyone in the UFC right now. But I'm absolutely appalled and sick and tired of listening to these dudes who claim not to have an agenda when they make these videos and they make their commentary and they say things and all this and that, but they clearly have an agenda. How am I going to start this off? We're going to start with calling out the first MMA content creator that I despise, and that's MMA Joey C is what his channel is under. Dude's a fucking clown, bro. Look, fighters' personal lives, their personal lives, dude. I keep my opinions and my rhetoric on what I see in the octagon, what I see in the training rooms, right? Nothing else. I don't care about what you're doing at home. I don't care about your girlfriend. I don't care who you're dating. I don't care about what country you're. I don't care about all that. This man hated first. what made me start watching his channel was I was cool with him, bro. He seemed to not have a bias. Was showing a level of respect to Izzy while he was in the very beginning stages of a championship reign and all this and that. But for whatever reason, I'm still unsure. But as the MMA fan base started to turn on Israel Adesanya, bro, this dude's videos went from, praising Izzy to making it about something about I don't pay too much attention to personal stories and all that shit, but started making it about some sort of incident with Izzy and his dog or whatever. And I'm just like, so who fucking cares? That's his dog, that's his life, bro. Like, what are we talking about? So this man's diminished as an MMA fighter and he's washed and all this and that simply because there's some controversy on some actions that he took with his dog, and it wasn't even abusive, and it wasn't even like beating his dog or anything like that. I was like, that shit's weird, bro. And so I'd stop watching his content, and it just so happened to pop up over this weekend. And when it popped up over this weekend, the first thing this motherfucker wanted to talk about when it came to Ilia Toporia's victory was the weight debacle at the weigh-ins, dude. 0.5, bro. I went off on my Twitter about this. 0.5. You think that the UFC does not have you're like, oh, this is Ilia Topuria. We're going to let him, miss weight by 0.5. No, bro, they don't give a fuck. They're a multi-billion-dollar company, bro. Like, they stripped Oliveira for fucking coming in point whatever overweight he came. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't give a fuck about stripping Topuria. He's brand new to the championship scene in that division anyway. They don't give a fuck. So if it was really that, dude, and not a mistake, then, like I told this dude in the comments, bro, they would have fucking, they wouldn't have made it for the belt, bro. There's no special favoritism for Ilia. As a matter of fact, dude, Dana White initially, upon Ilia Toporia's ascent, seemed very indifferent. Very indifferent to the whole thing. Like, he'd already seen Conor. He had John Jones. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we'll see if this kid's about what he says. That's the energy Dana White was on, bro. So this dude makes it about this 0.5 and just starts fucking shitting all over Toporia's victory over this fucking weight cut bullshit. And I think that's kind of lame. You know what I'm saying? Like, this man worked hard, went through whatever craziness he went through in his training camp, got the victory the way he said he was going to do it, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. This man said he was going to knock him out in the first round. This man knocked him out in the first round. I also made a video on my Instagram exposing to me what part of the route to victory is with Ilia Topuria. Because the combination that he throws and has thrown his last 3 knockouts, all on our favorite fighters, is virtually the same combo. The right kind of varies. It switches up from a straight to an overhand right. But that's always immediately followed up by that left hook, dude. I'm not going to get into that right now. It's not the point. But I thought that shit was lame, dude. And so I'm listening to some shit this morning as I'm getting ready. And I'm listening to fools talk about, Islam Makhachev coming back down and, glazing Makhachev now and all this and that. And, well, not even, glazing Makhachev. That was my issue. My issue was the Arman Sarukian fucking shit. What I suspected was going to happen, bro, is because people are a little bit lame when it comes to picking their fandom. I felt like there's still going to be a nice group of people out there who's salty at Topuria for beating their favorite fighter. So they're going to be looking for whoever the next challenger is. They're going to glaze him and exalt him because they want him to beat Topuria, right? So let us not be fooled. Okay, whether you're a casual, whether you're an old school dude like me, whatever, we're all still part of the same MMA community, right? Same MMA fan base. Let us not get this shit confused. Let us not start being weird about this shit, and let's start throwing our fucking support behind Armin Sarukian, or whatever the fuck this dude's name is. like he's got the answer to beat fucking Taporia, bro. The dude's got great wrestling, right? Fantastic. We seen what Taporia can do on the ground with a fucking ground specialist. Pass his guard, crucify him, and make him look like he shouldn't even been a fucking ground fighter, or the words ground fighting should have never been associated with that man's name. That's what Taporia does to ground fighters. So to make up this imaginary scenario that, Armin's got he's got the answers, he's going to be the guy to fucking, to beat Taporia. I personally, in my humble opinion, based off of my insight, my knowledge, dude, I respectfully disagree. I personally think that Taporia would find his way to a victory over that man as well. Straight up. Until somebody addresses the boxing and that combination that is sleeping everybody, he's going to be your champion. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's featherweight or whether it's lightweight, he's going to be your champion. Makhachev possibly has the best option, and that's only because Makhachev's wrestling rivals Armin's, if not better. But Islam also has a little bit of striking. And that little bit of striking, if worked on, could be the difference maker. Anyway, I just wanted to fucking get started on making some content on YouTube, and starting with one of my favorite subjects. I'm probably going to talk about some music shit the next time I go on here or whatever. Who knows? We'll see. I have a whole little plan and a whole little fucking thing worked out, so we'll just keep chugging along. And yeah, welcome to Sid Vision. Welcome to this part of the world, and I hope that a lot of people decide to start fucking tuning in, so I can upgrade this shit and make this into the fucking most legit fucking channel on fucking YouTube. And then once I get that shit done, then put me on TV so I can go ahead and fucking battle lames like Stephen A. Smith talking MMA like you really know what's up and you don't even watch the sport, you weird ass nigga. I'm on y'all ass, dude. All you MMA content creators, all y'all fucking shit that been sitting in the pretty seat for a long ass time, I'm coming for your head if you playing that bullshit. Know that.